can be what you want to be. Be what you want to be. You just be what you want to be with me.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Happy AF. My name is Sambowker, and I'm super freaking excited that you have decided to join me today. So listen, 2023 people, this is the first episode of 2023, and so I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about what is this year going to look like, right? I'm really curious. How many of you went out there and you set yourself some, New Year's oh my goodness, see, can't even speak. New Year's resolutions. New Year's, new you resolutions. That's what I'm trying to say. New Year's resolutions. Okay, so how many of you set some New Year's resolutions? And then, how many of you are still doing them? Yeah, come on, let's be honest. New Year's resolutions are that thing that we all do. We set ourselves up and then the day rolls around and they maybe last for 1 or 2 or 3. If we're really good, they might last a little bit longer. But the simple fact is that it implies that this New Year's resolution is going to flow all through the year. And what we do is we wait until, the end of the year to set the year's resolutions. And then by mid-January, which is where we're at now, most of us have forgotten about them. So I wanted to talk with you about how is it that you keep yourself sustaining the year, okay? Because I don't know about you guys, but I've had a pretty slow start to the year. And so I kind of decided, I was going to give myself a little bit of a break in January. And when I say break from filming, break from kind of creating content, and really just do a bit of a chill out and reflect and ask myself the question, what do I want to achieve in 2023? Now, I've got some pretty big, hairy, lofty goals, which I'll share with you later. But the reason I wanted to talk with you about 2023 and New Year's resolutions is that, you might know if you've listened to a few episodes, I talk a lot about the 7 Ps. And the 7 Ps essentially stand for proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. Proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. Try saying that super fast. And so what I want to do is I want to talk about what your plan is this year, okay, in the areas of your life that matter most. Now, I've worked out that pretty much most of my life can fit into, one of 3 or 4 buckets, okay? I've got my family, I've got my health, and I've got my wealth. And my wealth fits with my career and what am I giving back? All of my purpose is wrapped up in that, okay? So my health, my wealth, and my family, right? Now, I've got one other bucket, which is just kind of for things, things I want to achieve, things I want to do, things I want to acquire. But essentially health, wealth, and family are kind of my 3 main buckets. And so as I'm going through the year, I sit back and I go, okay, does it fit with my health? Does it fit with my wealth? And does it fit with my family, right? And then, as I said, my other little bucket, which is kind of like a combination of a few things for me, right? So I want you to ask yourself, as you look through this year, what is it that you want, right? Try and really, hone it down and get it clear and make it small, right? It doesn't have to be some huge, big, hairy, lofty thing. But if you've got little itty bitty goals, what are the incremental steps that you're going to take? So I want to share with you how I'm going to structure this, okay? I am launching a little thing for myself really called the swap out. And the way that the swap out works, okay, is that it's all about, instead of stopping things, because a lot of people go, I want to stop eating sugar, I want to stop drinking alcohol, I want to stop sleeping in. And we talk a lot about stopping. And the simple fact is that I believe when we talk about stopping, the little part inside of us almost goes into a bit of resistance. It says things like, but I don't want to stop. I want to keep doing it. What do you mean I have to stop? No, I want to do that. It's almost like we're telling ourselves to do something. And it's like a parent saying to a child, stop this, don't do that, don't do this. And let's be honest, if anyone's got kids, you know how well that goes. I don't want to, I'm not gonna. So the little rebel inside of us kicks in. So instead of saying I want to stop, I've decided to call it the swap, right? Because then instead of saying I can't have this, I'm just saying, well, instead of having this, I'm going to have that. So it's a bit more of a choice, okay? So the way that the swap out works is you pick the date that you're going to start, okay? And for me, I'm starting my swap out today. And then you pick the amount of days that you want to do it, right? And if this is, a new thing you're wanting to create, then my suggestion is maybe don't go too crazy, okay? So I usually like to kind of pick a round number and go 30, 60 or 90 days. And me personally, I like to do 90 days. And the reason that I do 90 days is because the latest research is that it's about 66 days to create a brand new habit, okay? Now, look, there's been a lot of arguments around the years about this, 21 days, 7 days, whatever. The simple fact is the latest research that I've read has come in at 66 days, which I think makes a lot of sense, right? So add an extra few days, that makes it 90, and I want some lasting longevity with these plans that I'm creating for myself, okay? So what I have decided in my 90-day swap out, so I will check what first thing you need to do is you need to decide what date you're going to start. So today's date, all right? And then what you do is decide how many days and then get yourself a little calendar, okay? And if you're doing 30 days, have a look at your start date, have a look at your finish date, and then every day you're going to tick off what you've done, right? You're going to tick off what you've achieved. So that's the process of the swap out. And then you need to decide what are the things you're wanting to swap out, right? And so I already mentioned to you that the areas of my life that I really want to focus on this year and always, to be honest, but I've really kind of, honed it in, and to me, it's my health, my wealth, my relationships, and then I've got my other little bucket, which I'll share with you in a second, right? And so my swap out is all around me doing the things that I can to serve my health, doing the things that I can to serve my family, and also doing the things that I can to serve my wealth plan, right? And my other little bits and pieces. So here's what my swap out is going to look like, okay? I'm going to swap wine/alcohol, wine for water and lime, right? So wine for water and lime, wine for water and lime. I'm going to stop, see, I'm going to swap snooze for vigorous move. Now, I don't know, come on guys, anybody here decided they wanted to get up earlier? They set the alarm goes off and they go, oh, I just need a couple more minutes. Snooze, snooze, snooze. I got to say, over the Christmas break, I've been doing a little bit more snoozing than I normally allow myself to. And so I'm going to now go from snooze to vigorous move. Now, for me, vigorous move is going to mean getting up and training, right? But for you, vigorous move might just mean, for argument's sake, that you get up out of bed and that is your vigorous move as a starting point. All right, so we've got wine for water and lime, snooze for vigorous move. Now, for me to be able to get up early, I know I need to go to bed early. So I'm going to go, instead of staying up late, I'm going to go late. I liked it to be cute. What did I decide? I was going to go late night, early dream. So I'm going to go from late nights to early dreams. So my goal is going to be to get in bed by no later than 9 o'clock. And if I can get in a little bit earlier some nights, I'm going to do that, but definitely 9 o'clock because my start time is 4:20 in the morning, right? So I know I really want to get a solid night's sleep. And then, so what do we got? We've got wine for water and lime, snooze for vigorous move, late night, early dream. And then for me, those three things, that's a really good start, okay? But I also know that I've been eating a bit too much processed food, so I'm going to go from my processed to clean, okay? So I'm not going to say stop eating sugar because the reality is sugar is in everything. But I'm going to do my best to make sure that the stuff I'm doing is more like fruit. So if you have a look at those things, they're very clear, but they're also not like I have to train every day, I have to stop eating sugar, which is what people do for themselves when they set themselves some New Year's resolutions, okay? We tend to set things that are really set in stone and it's very easy to fail and it's very hard to succeed. So what I've done is that I've created a plan that is easy to follow, right? And I'm going to stick it everywhere. I'm going to stick it up on my social media. I'm going to stick it in my wall in my bedroom. It's going to be on the screensaver on my phone, and I'm just going to have these categories, right? So I've got the snooze, vigorous move. Well, that's me doing hard things, okay? Oh, and I also forgot one more. Cold, hot showers to cold showers. And so again, those of you that have been following me for a little while, you might know that I'm a huge fan of Wim Hof, and I love the idea of the cold shower. I've gotten into cold plunging, ice baths, cryotherapy. There's a lot of reasons for doing this. For me, the reason I started doing it is that I know when you do hard things, you are training your brain to basically take action when it doesn't want to. Which brings me to a very important thing, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And this is the number one reason that you are not making the changes that you want to make in your life. Okay, so let's just go through that again. And I'm doing this as much so that you can see the way I've got it structured. So for me, my health is important. That's my real focus. So I've got wine to water and lime, right? So no alcohol for 90 days. That's a good thing. But I'm not saying no alcohol. I'm just saying I'm swapping wine for water and lime. So the focus is water and lime. Snooze for vigorous move, hot for cold, late night, early dream, right? And so by kind of making it easy for myself to win in these areas, right? And then processed for clean, right? Processed food, clean food, more fruit, more vegetables, nuts, things that are green and clean, things that have not been processed. So for me, the simplest way, I don't go on a diet, right? Diets threaten death and starvation. Don't go on a diet. Just start eating clean, right? Start perhaps, looking at when you eat your first meal in the day. Kick in some bone broths, right? So have a look at these things. So I want you to have a look now at any New Year's resolutions that you made for yourself and ask yourself, A, are you still doing them? If you are, maybe you don't need to be watching me. Maybe you've got this all covered and you don't need to, and you're already happy AF, so carry on. But if you want a little bit more support and you want to make this simpler for yourself, why don't you join me on the swap out? Now, you can do this anytime, right? I'm going to be sharing and talking and, putting it out into, I guess, the ethos, because I know that when I speak it out loud, it makes it easier for me. It gives me accountability. So I hope you guys get something from this, but this is as much for me as it is for you. And I know that the last time I did this, because I was accountable, I stuck to it and I got the results that I wanted. Okay. So have a look. What could your swap out be? What are you doing right now that is not serving you being the best version of yourself in 2023, right? Are you feeling a little bit heavy and sluggish over the Christmas break? Did you eat a little bit too much? Did you drink a little too much? Did you stop exercising? I know I did. My trainer went away. Perfect excuse. And my back is sore. So funnily enough, I was in more pain and more sore over the entire break when I didn't train. Today's the first day I went back to my trainer and I'm on fire. I've been up since 4:20. I did my training session. I'm feeling so vibrant and excited to get on with my day. So, okay, you've got the swap out, right? So, excuse me, how you're going to join me is you're going to pick a date. Pick a start date, right? Get super clear on what you want to swap out before you pick the start date. Okay, or pick a start date and say, I know I want to sort some resolutions out. I want to sort some goals and plans, and I want to stick to them. I don't want them to just be overnight resolutions. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set a date, and it might be, I don't know, might be today, might be the 21st of January, whatever. Set it soon. It needs to start soon, okay? And then I want you to think, what are you going to swap out? And what amount of time are you prepared to do it for? Now, if this is your first time and you're feeling really scared about this and you think to myself, I'd really like to swap wine for water and lime, but I've got this party coming up. Well, you can do one of two things. You can start now and you can decide to give yourself a get out of jail free card for one night in that 2-month time frame. Or you could just maybe see if you can go and enjoy that night without some alcohol, like I'm going to do for all the little events that I've got packed up over the next 3 months, okay? So you're going to set your plan. You're going to set your date. My suggestion is, if you want some support and accountability, you want to share that with us, right? So type in #swap out, put your date, and then what are you swapping out? And how long are you going to do it for, right? And then talk about it. Share it with your friends. See if you can get some buddies to do it with you. It is so much easier to do this stuff when you have accountability, right? It's so much more fun when you've got friends to do it with. And I promise you, you're not the only one that didn't stick to your resolutions. You're not the only one that would maybe like to improve on some things, okay? So now that you've got your resolutions, now that you've got your date, now you've got your plans, now you know what you're going to do, and then you're going to tick it off. So for me, I don't actually know what the date is today, but it doesn't matter. I'll go to my calendar when I leave here and I will go, right, this is the date, and it will be 90 days. And then I will mark my finish date and I will start ticking off every single day in my calendar. Another day, another day. You might like to do a countdown on your phone. So there's lots of different ways you can do it, depending on, whether you're a phone person or a diary person or a reminder person. It doesn't matter. You might reset your alarm every day and it might be day 25, day 26, day 27. So just think about what's going to work best for you and then share it with us, okay? And now I want to talk about why doing hard things is important, okay? Your brain doesn't want to, right? So right now, even as I'm sitting here saying to you, wine for water and lime, I'm going, oh, but there's a party on the weekend and I'm going to Byron in a couple of weeks and then I'm not going to be able to, I've got all these excuses, okay? But I also know that now I want to get a wriggle on, right? I've been drinking a little bit more than I want to over the Christmas break. I've got massive plans I want to achieve this year and I don't want anything to get in my way. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick to it, okay? But the cold water thing, the cold plunging thing, okay? Why is it important to do hard things? Well, see this thing here? This brain thing that we've got, right? It's actually a supercomputer, but none of us use it properly. Yeah, most of us, they talk about us only using 10% of our brain. That's actually bullshit. That's not the case at all. We just don't use it effectively. We use all parts, we just don't use them effectively. And the reason for that is that our brain is this old piece of machinery that essentially hasn't had an update for years. And if you go back to the caveman days, the simple fact is this: our brain learned how to do two things, right? Die or survive. That's it. Didn't care about thriving. It didn't care about fun. Didn't care about happy. Didn't care about any of that stuff. It just cared about, am I alive? Am I dead? So we are hardwired to not like things that are hard. Right? We are hardwired to get anxious and fearful and worry. And when that stuff happens, we stop. So our brain does not like change. And that is why it is so hard for you to make the changes that you want to make. So even though you know you want to start doing something better for yourself, or change that career, or leave that relationship, or start parenting in a different way, or start studying, all of these things, or stop eating something, or start eating something new, all of these things, your brain goes, oh my God, change, that's no good. No, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So even if it's going to be really good for you, it's not going to be easy. You're not going to feel like it. Your brain's going to go, no, I don't want to. It's 4:20 in the morning. It's too early. I didn't get a good night's sleep. I'm tired. And you're going to have a million excuses for why you don't want to make that change. So when you do hard things, you are not negotiating with yourself anymore, right? You are now starting to say to yourself, right, these are the things I want to do. They're going to be hard. We are not negotiating. This is why we want to do it. This is why it's important. And therefore, no negotiation anymore. I will not negotiate. I am not being held hostage. I don't care whether I feel like it or not. I made a decision. I'm doing it. So part of this swap out and part of writing it down, joining a group, sharing your journey with people is that first, you've got some accountability. And second, when I talked about the cold shower thing, that's just one example. And the 4:20 in the morning, that's another example of things that I do to basically pattern in and train my brain that just because it's hard and just because I don't feel like it doesn't mean it's dangerous and doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. So I'll say that again. Just because it's hard and just because I don't feel like it doesn't mean it's not something I want to do and doesn't mean it's good, right? And so I learned a while ago that when you start practicing these hard things and you do them on a consistent basis, you will find that it becomes much easier because your brain goes, hang on a second, is this super dangerous? Am I going to die? Is this a life or death situation? No. Is it going to suck? Yes. Am I going to die? Probably not. Okay, less than a couple of % chance I'm going to die, therefore I'm just going to do it because I know why. What are the benefits? Well, if I learn how to do hard things, that means I'm going to take more action. When I take more action, I'm going to get more results. When I get more results, I'm going to get closer to where I want to go. So if you start by doing some hard things, you might not even know what it is that you want to do right now, But if you start practicing hard things and then start thinking about what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do if you knew there was no such thing as failure? There was only feedback. There is only the failure to try, right? So what would you do if you could go out there, you could give it a red hot go, you weren't attached to whether it worked or not, you just went, you know what, I'm just going to keep trying, I'm just going to keep trying, just going to keep trying. What would you be able to achieve? 2023 has the ability to be your best year yet. And if you start practicing hard things today, right, by using this opportunity here that I'm giving you to join in and do this swap out. I'm going to be hanging out talking about this swap out all year. There is no time like the present to start. So whether you're watching this video today, in a week, in a month, if you are watching this, there is an opportunity for you to create some change in your life. So, are you committed? Are you in? Do you know someone that you might like to have come along on this journey with you? Share the video with them, right? Like, subscribe. If you want some motivation and inspiration and you want someone in your corner helping you ensure that these New Year's resolutions don't go New Year's splat by the end of January, then I ensure you that if you stick around, I encourage you, if you hang out with me, I'm going to keep you on this journey and I'm going to share with you my wins. I'm going to share with you when I fall flat on my face, which, by the way, happens a lot, but I'm going to share the whole lot with you, and it's going to make way more fun. Come on, come and join me. Come and join me on the swap out. Come hang out with me. So let's just go through this again so I can remember what I'm doing. Right, swapping out a few things here. I'm doing a 90-day swap out, which starts today. It's going to go for 90 days. I'm going to swap wine for water and lime, snooze for vigorous move, hot for cold, late night for early dream, and processed for clean. 5 things, just 5 things. And those 5 things fit into my health, because by looking after the amount of alcohol and processed food and sleep, well, that's going to all serve me, right? By doing hard things, it's going to continue to encourage me to build my business, take the risks, jump headfirst into things that are scary AF, right? And I'm going to have more time to spend with my beautiful little girl, my family, right? Connection. And more importantly, because I'm not wasting money and time and energy on heaps of Netflix, staying up late, I'm going to have more time to work and build my wealth and create the life that I want to live. So who's going to join me? You want to come hang out? Guys, it's been so cool to get back here. I can't wait to record heaps more cool content for you this year. If you haven't liked and you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. You can listen to it on all of your favorite podcast apps. So whichever one you want, go in there, like, subscribe. Please review, because when you review, it helps us with the algorithm. And when you like this channel, it also makes sure that it ends up in people's feeds. So do what you can to spread happy AF. I mean, who doesn't want to be happy, right? I hope you have an amazing day. Live large, be awesome, and make 2023 your best year yet. My name is Sambowker. I love you guys. Big hugs. Bye.
You can be what you wanna be.